Okay, away we go. It is Wednesday, September 11th of 2024, a very significant day in American history here today. It was a beautiful day here, reminiscent of that time long ago. So we remember all of those who suffered in 2000 and, 9/11, 2001. I know exactly where I was on that day. So it's an interesting place. I was down in New York City this past week where the memorial was lit up, and it's just a beautiful memorial. If you ever get a chance, I highly recommend going down and visiting Ground Zero. All right, so we are back live with the Profitable Real Estate Agent Plan, and we are in week number 5. So just to reiterate, as we go back through the whole course, we have talked about a couple of things here in order of the way that the business really works. And I think that's important for me to reiterate that over and over and over again, is to say, look, this is an assembly line like process that we're trying to get through. And so you have to understand what that really looks like when you're trying to build a business, right? And the idea first is we started off with who you have to think you are as a profitable real estate agent. That's how we started. Then we said, okay, now that profitable real estate agent has to become a business person who thinks about the top line, that revenue number. And then we start to get into the unique selling proposition that we're going to offer to our ideal person. And we defined the ideal person last week. So we do a lot of work before we get to the conversation about leads. And I think that's something that is lost in a lot of real estate agents when they first get into the business. And it's no fault of their own. I think we live in an industry that has a lot to say about leads before it has anything to say about everything else. And that's not fair to the real estate agent and the top producer alike. There are a lot of people that have been in this business that have just never been trained in small business. And it's a difficult subject. I have had the benefit of coming out of, once upon a long time ago, big business, and then studied a lot of small business. So I give a lot of credit to the work of Michael Gerber, which was introduced to me by my mentor. And the entrepreneurial myth is really a good framework and a structure within which I built a small business framework for my own real estate agent business. So when I teach you, I teach from doing this. I'm not just teaching. I was at a listing presentation this morning. I gave the very structured presentation. The avatar or ideal person, as discussed last week, was exactly the person that was in front of me. I stayed extremely disciplined. And that comes to, okay, well, how did you get this lead? And I get that conversation a lot. So before I get into the slideshow presentation, I want to make it very, very clear because this is a pivotal moment for me when I finally understood this correctly and I did it the right way. And I want you to listen to me say this. This is primarily about listing leads. Yes, absolutely. And of course, we're going to talk about buyer leads. In fact, right before this call, I was just on with a buyer who's buying into one of my listings, double-ended. And so we're representing both sides, and it's a really tricky deal. It's a wonderful place, but there's been a lawsuit ongoing in the building. And so we've been meeting with some other building owners that are on the board to make that buyer comfortable. But that buyer came from a listing first. And it came from a listing that is the second listing in this building. So my intention has always been in the last 6 to 7 years, especially, to be absolutely obsessed with talking about listing leads. Tonight, I'll talk about both, but I'll be extremely tactically specific about what I have learned and how it has really sustained and grown my business, but most importantly, made each deal extremely profitable. And the deal I just got on the phone with, let's just put it this way, is north of $100,000 in gross commission, okay? Assuming it goes smoothly and it goes through. So I've learned a lot because I didn't always do deals like that. But when I got intentional about this lead discussion tonight, everything changed. But it also changed because I was prepared correctly. I had the right profitable real estate agent image at luxury, meaning median or above, loosely defined. I had a very clear written goal as to what the gross commission income would be, not for my whole brokerage, but just for me, my sales machine, my book of business, my small little team that I run myself for my own book. It was very clear. Then I absolutely sat down and we talked about this unique selling proposition in one of our early weeks, and I'll hold it up in front of you again. I put together information products for both sellers primarily and buyers secondarily. And that became really the cornerstone for how I was going to be uniquely presenting myself to listing leads where I did not know the person, not hoping someday that miraculously, if I joined the right club or my kids went to the right school, would I bump into somebody like this? No, I decided that I was intentionally going to be prepared to talk to listing leads who met that avatar. They were median or above. They had a real why. They had a motivation to do so. And they were engaging me in the information product that I was giving them and educating them against. Okay. So all of that is backdrop before you should ever and can ever talk about leads correctly. So I think that's important before we get into this. Okay. All right. So having said that, let me get into it. And oh yeah. Go ahead, Amy. I'm just going to shut this door too, so there's no. Go ahead. Go ahead, Amy. Yes. Yes. Sure. Yep. Well, Amy, you're with Paul, right? You're already with Paul. You have access to an hour-long video of me talking about a presentation. So you're already an insider. So you have a whole hour's worth of that. So, but tonight, I'm not going to make you wait since you asked. I will make sure that I deal with you directly. So why don't you do this? I want you to put an email into my danny.griffin@thegriffin.co because you are a Griffin. So I'm going to give you access to me talking about that. I'll pull it off one of the training sites and I'm going to give you a link to it so that you can go listen to me. But also, since you asked and you're here tonight live, when I finish with these leads tonight, I will go through. Let me see if I have the presentation that I had today. Amy, I will go through for you. I have my presentation package from today. I will go through it for you today. I'll do a quick and dirty version of it. Okay. But then I'll also give you the link. All right. So we'll take care of you because you are a Griffin already. All right. Good. You're welcome. Good question. Okay. Let's get going with this. We'll get the slideshow going. And if you can't see this for any reason, somebody please let me know. Okay, so our leads hiding in plain sight is our subject tonight because they are, right? I'll just cheat and I'll tell you, people get so obsessed like there's a shortage of leads. There is no such thing as a shortage of leads. There are trillions of dollars that transact in this business all the time across this country, Canada, and wherever else they sell real estate. So there's never a shortage. It's just our perception is. So developing an answer to that question, though, for you, your own brain, your own mindset is essential. So we're going to go through this worksheet to help you get through this. Okay. So when it comes to finding leads, the question is, where should you start looking? I mean, I can see when agents join us at one of our Griffin agencies. We have one in Cape Cod, Boston combined. Then we now have Arizona, Scottsdale, and Amy's out in Seattle. So when I see those agents come to us, there's an anxiety because they don't think that the leads are easy to find. So here's what we'll start talking about, right? Is that listing leads, as I just said, are primary. And buyer leads are a good secondary source of potential customers. So I think that's a really important thing to talk about here. Again, I've already said it before I started the slideshow, but we're looking. Yeah. Oh, it's not. You can't see it. Okay. Thank you for that heads up. There we go. Tell me when. Yeah. We go. Yeah. Sorry. Good. Okay. Because it wasn't showing on Zoom, but I think it's showing on StreamYard. Yep. Okay, we're good there. Okay, sorry, I'm juggling two places at once. All right, you keep me on track, Amy. So now let's get back to the slideshow. So I'm going to talk about this ad nauseum in this course. You're going to hear me talk about listings, because I know it's going to happen. Somebody somewhere along the line has told you, oh, just go get rentals. Just go get the buyers. Just go get anybody. There's nothing wrong with that advice when you're just starting, because I know you need some cash flow and you're trying to get up and going. This is why we tell all our agents, don't quit your day job. Don't let anybody ever tell you, quit your day job. That's the only way you'll be successful in real estate. That's the dumbest advice I've ever heard, and it's financially dangerous, and usually the reason why a lot of people quit. This is a business opportunity, the opportunity to partner up with somebody like me at a brokerage and build your business, but you need a plan against which you build that. And it takes time. This isn't something you just turn on. You don't go rent a place, go buy the coffee beans, grind them up, and serve a latte. It's not that kind of a business. We have to go out and inventory our business. So we have to hunt it down. You can't just call the distributor and say it. But the way that I started to look at it, I tried to commoditize it like a coffee shop, for example, saying to myself, how do you go out and get these listing leads? And then how do you get these buyer leads? Now, of course, there are quick and easy answers to that people think are the right things. For a while, internet-based listing leads and buyer leads abounded. There was a window of time where the cell phone landed in a perfect time with the access to information online, and everybody was using it and getting trapped into these lead capture sites, and a lot of good leads. Over time, what happened is people got burnt out because a lead company like Market Leader or Commissions Inc. or whatever they might be would sell so many people the same website that you had the same leads running around to people, and a lot of it was just whimsical inquiry. It just became a disaster. So I stopped pursuing internet-based leads completely about 6 years ago. Let that sink in, okay? And it changed my business many folds for the better, and I'll explain, okay? So let's get into where are these listing leads if they're not really primarily on the internet. Not that I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'll leave the internet, out there, and I'll talk about a lead source that I stumbled upon when things were quiet. I told my team, sure, we can sign up for that, and I don't mind if they're good leads paying some sort of referral fee. That was homelight.com, right? And that's where I was this morning. But again, they're internet leads, and a lot of those people are just curious about their value. We had 2 of them this week, and I think both people are just curious, and I don't mind helping them, but there are other types of leads, and those are expireds, probates, for sale by owners, and referrers, right? And I say referrals to the extent that people really get confused as to what a referral really is and isn't. You can have a past client referral if you've been in the business for a while, or you could have a professional referral from somebody that, say, is an attorney. So you want to start to understand referrals you have to get some definition in there too. Don't just like slap this thing around. I mean, Joe Stumpf was the originator of, by referral only, and he trained Brian Buffini. I think they might've been partners at one point in time. And, they're in this mentality that I only do this like it's some bravado. Well, I don't agree with that at all. I think referrals are great, but you still have a third party in between you and getting to the person. I like to go direct to consumer whenever I can. So this business delivers us up this unique opportunity where some of these listings are hiding in plain sight. If you are a member of the MLS, they're hiding in your face every time you log on to MLS. They're right there. And you can see going back a week, you can match them up to the avatar, meaning when you set your unique, goal, that crooked goal in week 2 for your gross commission income, I think we used a model like 123, 263 or something like that. So 123,263. And we said, okay, what's the median number in your MLS area that you really want to do business in? We came up with a number of deals, and it was reasonable for anybody. It was a reasonable goal. It wasn't some crazy number of transactions if we just focused on the median, right? So now the question begs is, well, what do you mean by a lead hiding in plain sight? Well, if I have a target median price based on the geography, now I just go into that geography. I might start by looking back 6 months and saying, how many listings expired or were withdrawn or maybe canceled? Be careful of temporarily withdrawns. You can't call those, though that's, a no-no in MLS. We found that out by making that mistake once. So all of those people failed to sell their property at that median price and above in the geography in which we really want to do business. Well, that's hiding in plain sight, right? Probates, if you don't know what those are, that's when somebody passes away and there is real estate left behind, and there's not a will that really directs how this real estate gets disposed of. So an administrator of an estate is assigned. A friend or somebody, a relative, somebody gets assigned, and they have to go through a court process where the heirs have to be notified, et cetera, or potential heirs. So there's a certain legal process before a license to sell can be acquired. So there are a lot of those, and they're hiding in plain sight. In fact, I'll tell you the methodologies exactly through which we acquire them so you understand. But that's a great balance of listing leads as well, because expireds go up and down with the economy, right? And or the seasons, and probates are a steady thing. People pass away every single day, and that's why there's a lot of regular churn in real estate. These types of circumstances are regular occurrences, regardless of what the marketplace is doing. It doesn't matter whether it's a seller's market, a buyer's market, or whatever market you want to label it. These things continue to happen. Yes, maybe there's more or less at times, but what you're looking for over time is to balance yourself out. Now, I'm a top producer, meaning I want volume, I need volume. So I'm going to have multiple campaigns to go after these hiding in plain sight leads. You might not. You might just take a very small subset of it when you're just starting your business and just make it small and make it simple so your focus is controlled while you build out that business, right? Next, where are some good examples of buyer leads? Because, of course, we're not going to throw away half the business opportunity. We're just going to lead with the listing. So the answer to that is pretty clear. In my case, oops, went too far. Open houses. And yes, I'm going to leave the internet in there as still a place where leads come. But I'm going to tell you as a coach, I'm going to tell you right now, I coach a lot of top producers every single week, and the ones that are delusionally thinking that they're still going to derive their business largely from internet-based buyers are going to be in big trouble financially in a very short order, because they've gotten way more difficult to convert, period. And they're usually less than the median. So the whole premise of this course is to teach you how to think to be a profitable real estate agent, not a broke one. So the internet's making a lot of people broke as they continue to pursue the worst quality lead, less than the median price. So of course, as a coach and a doer of the thing, I'm going to scream caveat, right? mTOR, buyer beware. Now, of course, the same thing, referral leads, right? If we have past clients, they might refer us a buyer, right? If we have professional referral sources that we're keeping up to date with a newsletter or something like that, they're likely to refer us to. But I love my open house buyers. I love them. They are hands down for me my favorite new type of buyer that's a non-repeat from a past client or a non-refer through that sphere. They are my favorite people that I don't know. Why? I absolutely get the chance to be face to face. And going back to what Amy was talking about, presentations, when I do my open houses, I am 100% prepared to present to a buyer, always. And you say, well, how can you do that? You don't know what they want. Well, I make a presumption going into this house that there might be a seller that is hiding in plain sight that comes through the door. There might be a buyer hiding in plain sight that comes through the door, because neighbors thinking about selling are curious to see what the competition is. And buyers are just looking, and they want to get off the internet, right? I know the internet's been a decent tool, but this delusion that somehow the internet was going to all of a sudden get rid of the buyer's desire to go into a house is absurd. And in fact, I think it's a great opportunity, because I am telling you, agents have gotten incredibly lazy to the world I grew up in starting 25 years ago. Everything was physically proactive. In fact, we couldn't wait to go on the broker tour with the new inventory every week or every other week, depending on how many listings there were. Man, I'll tell you, you'd be lucky if you can get 4 or 5 people to come through any house. I did one up in Boston. Nobody came except the one gal that asked me when I was doing it. Nobody. So this proactivity is gone. So by doing open houses and allowing those buyers to come directly to me, I'm getting a lot of people that do not have an agent, and they don't put one down, because people aren't just going to say, yes, you can be my agent simply because like you sent me some listings. They want proactivity. So when I'm there ready to present to a buyer, and this is exactly what just happened, I'll stop here for a second to explain this, because I'll actually take the listing side too, and I'll show you the open house and how those two methodologies of people hiding in plain sight came together. One, this building, Dern Street in Boston, Massachusetts, was an old Suffolk Law building. So if you Google Suffolk Law School in Boston, right behind the State House, they sold this building to developers, and the developers converted this into a 13-unit ultra luxury apartments. Well, right after the project was done, there was a lawsuit because there was a punch list bunch of items and these people just didn't want to fix them. And so the owners sued these people who subsequently sued all the contractors. A mess, right? And it's been going on for quite some time. Make a long story shorter, I sold one when nobody else thought you could. I got a guy who's very intelligent. I explained to him what the discount was off of the price. Here's what you can anticipate is going to happen. Bang, he bought it. He loves it. He raves about it, right? Well, when the people in the building saw me do that, one of them decided to sell because now the lawsuit's at its tail end. We stayed in touch with people in the building. They called me and said, we'd like you to come in and meet with us. So I went up against somebody else and I won. So I got this listing that wasn't directly an expired, but it was from the initial echo effect of doing the expired listing first, right? Because it wasn't expired. I sold it. I got another piece of business. By the way, I got 3 of them. So I have 3 of them right now that total, $8.4 million. Okay. All from one expired, hiding in plain sight in Boston. We picked up the phone. We made our unique selling proposition offer. We delivered our package of information. To Amy's point, I walked in with a presentation, gave it, got it, and worked my tail off to sell it. Now, as that happened, the buyer who actually bought it came to me 3 times and did not put an agent's name down. So I thought on that one, I was moving towards a double-ended deal when I got a panic attack call from an agent who I like and who I know. And like, oh, we've been showing him stuff. I said, okay, let me just verify it with him. I picked up the phone. I called him and said, Steve, they're telling me you've been working with them. Is that true? He goes, yeah, we'd probably have to make it to them. I said, great. Let's honor that. So I almost double-ended that one because these people weren't doing the job. So now I move on to all that echo effect and I run my open house system again. And 2 weeks ago, I had one floor open and the next. I had a frenzy in there. People were bumping into each other. So the one gal that came and really intentionally wanted to be there, we showed it to her and I gave her a buyer package. I said, look, in the case that this one doesn't quite work out, or you just want to be more educated, I'm going to give you a package of information that includes, right? And this goes, so now you go back a couple weeks in my course here and you say, this includes pictures and details of properties that sold in this price range so you can see what the money's buying. I give you a few more homes for sale so you don't have to look at your phone and you get the pictures and details. A market update to show you exactly what the market's bearing. And by the way, as a bonus, I threw in a copy of my 6-step plan to help you get the best property at the best price. She was absolutely floored that I would be that organized. She's a very professional woman. She's run a successful orthodontic practice for 24 years, been a widely successful investor, and was impressed. So she said, okay, let me go home. She goes home and she says, listen, I want to make an offer. So we make an offer. We don't quite come to an agreement in the beginning, so it cools off. I get a text from her. I said, I see you you have another open house this weekend. I'd like to see it, but I'd like you to show me 3 other properties. That's all it took. So here was this buyer lead hiding in plain sight, but because I'm using the things I'm teaching you in this course, and I just showed it to you, I talked about the unique selling proposition package. Oh, what week is that? Is that 3? Yeah, I think it's week 3. So I told you exactly that. I took all the information we all use and I productized it. So I'm ready to use it. Now, when one of the other sellers comes through, in the building, I have the seller package for them. Similar, right? Pictures and details of properties that sold not just in the building, but also in the area and the price range, straight from MLS, just like realtors. A 1-page statistical market update to show them the exact direction of current market pricing. And as a bonus, my 7-step plan that I used to sell the other property, right? So I'm ready. I'm ready for them and I'm organized. So these information products are being given out, but in a professional context where I'm face to face with these people, right? So There's a real live example of some of my favorite types of leads hiding in plain sight. They didn't cost me an arm and a leg to go buy. Now, in full disclosure, I use Vulcan 7 to buy expired information because I don't want somebody on my team spending all that time going into MLS constantly when there's already a service out there. And there's multiple services. That's just the one I use. Then I have those leads cleaned so they match my price avatar and tighten up the geography. And then we enter them into the a database. And then we have telemarketers calling those people, reading a very specific script, offering the unique selling proposition. So everything's right. Everything's just a system. And none of it's rocket science, but that's exactly what it looks like, right? So how can you find listing leads? Let's double down on this, right? The best listing leads can be found by searching MLS for free. So you don't need to go out and spend the money. Somebody like me that's a top producer already established, has the money to invest in his business, can buy services to expedite things. You already pay a fee to MLS, presumably, and you have access directly to them. And by the way, you can go into MLS and look for these expireds and withdrawns and cancels, right? And then you can use, there are some low cost to no cost services on the internet where you can actually look up somebody's name and address and get a telephone number, right? So now you can build yourself a spreadsheet by and you can target a small area. This isn't rocket science, right? But then of course there are FSBO sites. Just go looking for sale by owners. Those are always hiding in plain sight, especially for my Canadian clients who have a tough time finding cell phone numbers for people up there. So we're trying to crack that code up in Canada a little bit. But you know what I tell them to do instead? Get the addresses of the expired listings and door knock them. Walk to the front door, use the same script and offer this. It's not terrifying when you're not trying to take and you're trying to give. It's a much easier door knock, right? And then, of course, referrals from past clients. But I will tell you the biggest mistake that I made with my past clients, if you have them already, is that I was not intentionally staying in touch with them, keeping them updated on what the market was doing. So I made a newsletter. That newsletter, by the way, that's in this package was originally made for my past clients so I could constantly give them updated information on the market. And then, of course, I'm there to say, by the way, if you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling, I'd love to get them started with a free package of information. By the way, how about you guys? You thinking about making another move? Okay, if you ever are, let me know because I've got this information. So everything just started to become very, very organized so that everything I do is organized behavior, right? I'm not winging it. I'm not guessing. And it allows me to create prospects who are truly having a reason why they want to move, having a high motivation at a 9 to 10 level on a 1 to 10 scale inside hopefully the next 6 months, maximum the next 12 months. And lastly, they're engaging me. They're not blowing me off constantly. They're just saying, listen, I'm not quite ready. You don't have to send us. No problem. I'm going to send it quarterly. We'll keep you up to date. So, it's all of that kind of back and forth. Now, the buyer lead, same thing. I'm just going to double down on this. Open houses, internet leads through online marketing, or by asking for referrals for past clients, right? So it's just this proactive stuff. But if you take nothing away from this more than what I'm talking about tonight, the obvious stuff is your sphere of influence. Everybody's going to tell you to do that, right? But after a while, you burn them out. If you just keep asking the same people, do you know anybody? Do you know? That's like gross. It's ugly and it doesn't work. If you want to keep your sphere of influence and have them understand you're a pro, because I have a lot of people I'm coaching a guy, his uncle just went FSBO. You know why? He never gave his uncle context that he's a professional. He knows him as his nephew. He doesn't know him as a real estate professional. He doesn't know that he knows the statistical data. Why? Because he never created a newsletter and gave it out to all these people that are close to him. And that's the craziest thing about this business. The closest people, friends, family, they tend to quote unquote cheat on you because you've never given them a professional context. So always start with some sort of a newsletter basic information that tells whomever you're going to talk to that you know what's happening in that marketplace, right? And that just, look, it's so simple to do. You go in and get some stats. You go on to Fiverr like I did, actually 99 Designs. I hired somebody to create a stupid, simple statistical market update. Top 10 sales, average sale price, median sale price. You get this. right? You get the point. Just put some stats on a page so you know what you're talking about and you can share it with somebody. And then you can mail that. You can put it on social. You can create videos about what you think about it. It's just endless what you can do with a core piece of data like that. And you need it so you know what you're talking about. So you stop saying stupid things like, oh, it's a seller's market. What does that mean? Statistically, what does that mean? It's a buyer's market. What does that mean? Right? Why are you saying that? Because somebody at the water cooler at your big office said it? Or the manager who's never sold a house said it? No, you need to know what the data says, okay? All right. Pro tips. Got to set up a good open house system to secure both sellers and buyer prospects. I will do, listen to me say this. I'm a longtime coach. I'm a successful top producer. I run a brokerage now that's in multiple states. And I can't wait to do my 4 open houses this weekend. People go, what? Yes, I just told you. Why wouldn't I? It's the fastest path to making money. If this deal goes down smoothly, the buy side of this deal, if I cut it in half, is $60,000. What are you doing right now that can make you that kind of money for an hour and a half's worth of work? Now, of course, there's plenty of weeks where nobody shows up, nothing happens, or you're not going to get the listing that expensive. So what? I did an open house in a distress sale because I was helping someone who lost somebody. He died in the house. It was a distress sale. We got into him from a probate listing. I open housed that one to death and sold it and gave him a discount. So that was a 505 at 2%. So I don't care what the price is. It's an open house system that's helping people that I've procured because I want to do business. Our probates tend to be, median or maybe even slightly less sometimes. But then I got one above it, 122, and guess what? I double ended it from an open house. Okay. That's 122 at 5%. You do the math. Okay. So here I am screaming, jumping up and down in a puddle saying this isn't rocket science, right? Then second pro tip, set up a systematic yearly gift program to solicit repeat and referred business. Okay. And that's what I just told you. When you have your past clients or even professional referrals, send them a newsletter. But if they're past clients, what we do, we send a gift every single year that says happy property anniversary forever, right? I'm happy to put that money in because over the course of a year, if I have 500 to 600 names, okay, it sounds like a lot of money, but all I need is one good referral and I get it all back and then some, right? So you have to look at these things as campaigns that are consistent. Okay, enough of the lecture tonight, he said, because I basically talked in one full breath there. Let's see what we have for any questions. I don't have a big group here because I know I missed last week and people were off on that. So let me know what we've got here for questions. Yeah, good. Small pack of brownies, caramels. Let me see if I can show you that, Alexia, okay? I'll go actually to the site that we use. So bear with me. We use a company called Zen Direct, okay? And so what we did was you set up a campaign. You can buy them one-off, though. Hang on. What happened here? Just want to see this. Let me see if I have my login. Come on. Bear with me. I was just going to show them to you. It's just visual, but you could go on there or you could go out, send out cards. They're another good company, sendoutcards.com. And then we also use gifttree.com. When we have a closing, Alexia, we will give, we'll give a big basket of, it's a chocolate basket. It's a really nice looking setup. So that's what we'll do. Right. So it varies, but for the continued stuff, we know we don't have to spend a lot of money. We give, I'm a big believer in gift giving as part of my marketing plan anyway, so that when somebody lists with us, we give them a thank you for the listing. So we'll send them a 2-pack of brownies. So here we go. It came up there. I don't know why I was so slow. Yeah. So just stuff like that, right? And so, that those brownies, by the way, are really fabulous. But I'm going to show you something too. I'm going to show you the effectiveness of this too, because it's good to see that this just came to me. If I can, I think it was over here. Bear with me. Let me just dig in here. Hang on. Stop my screen for a second. You need to see all this stuff. Let me see. See if I can find it on the right account. I think it might be under my profile. Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to go to my messenger. Just bear with me. I think it's worth it to show this to you. Yep, here it is. I got it. Okay, so you can actually see me practicing what I preach here. Okay, so this just happened yesterday, and this happens automatically. So this is all on, yeah. So she shared a story. I thought you might be able to see it. Yeah. So it's gone. It was a picture of what we sent her, and she tagged me in it. And so, she gave the little, shout out there and sent it to me and tagged me. So I just said, hope you guys are well. Thank you. We're all well. Hope you guys are. Thanks again for the package. We appreciate it. Yeah. If any of your friends or family need our help, you know where to find us. Oh, absolutely. Right. That's it. It's just once a year. It's an easy thing to stay top of mind. So we're the people, because it's incredible how powerful gift giving really is. So I think that's important, right? Good. What else? Other questions from other people? What I just showed you. You can actually go to my website and actually just copy it. Okay. It's because it's just stats. So if you go over here, go to my blog, go to thegriffin.co and go check it out. And you're going to see right here. This is one of them. That's it. So we don't even call it a newsletter, to the extent that it has my insights or something like that. I'll actually do a video about these, and that's where you'll get my insights. But this is it. And so it can be digital like this, or it can be a physical printed copy. So you'll see it's in all of these packages, right? So here's one. Here's an example here too, right? So let me just see. I don't know if sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. So there's that one on my website, on my blog, right? So just go in the blog, you'll find them over there. But then if I just show you this one here, right? There it is. You can see it's the same thing, printed, right? Yeah, yeah. So it's used for multi-purpose, right? And you have to remember this, Alexia. The consumer doesn't want complicated, no matter how smart they are. And I found out by doing a lot of ultra luxury stuff, really smart people don't want to work any harder than they do in their own lives. They want you to be the expert. They want you to make it easy and understandable. Yeah, cool. Good. All right. Yep. Yep. 100%. Yes. Not only do I put them on the, yes. Yes, both. Both on the. That's a great question. Quarterly, all of my past clients get one in the mail. Quarterly, monthly, everybody in my database gets one. Monthly, everybody, but they get a version of it that looks like this. Let's go look at one. Okay. So monthly, everybody gets this. But see the difference? This is me talking. Oh, thank you. Hang on. Let me put it over here too. Because in case anybody wants to. I got to switch it over here. Hang on. I just want to make sure it's on the recording on the live. I can't seem to find it. Okay, I'm going to move on. So let me just show you. Okay, so here. So this is what the digital copy of it looks like, right? And this goes to the whole database. So any kind of, especially our prospects, right? I want them to see it, but this all connects back to my website. So everything with me is circular. So we have our database. I use Keep, which used to be called Infusionsoft, but you can use anything, Constant Contact. And what I do is I actually, when I have those market reports, I actually have a script and I have a video editor for cheap that I found a long time ago on Upwork. Let me take my headphones off and I'll play it. Since you guys are asking me good questions, I'll fully indulge you. Okay. So when somebody clicks on that, it goes right here, right? All those graphics, you'd be surprised, are very easy for video editors to do. So all I'm doing is reading basically what's on there. So if you were to look at, the market update, this is it, right? There's my script right below it too. So none of this is rocket science, but it's just a template and I do it every week. But it's my insight because I'll say a few things about this too. So not only will I read the stats, but I'll give a couple of my opinions, but I'm not going to, it doesn't have to be rehearsed. I'm a pretty close to a one take person where I'm doing this call tonight with you all. That's my old studio. I just moved it over to my office because going back and forth, I'm going to sell that building. I wanted to move here. So I'm just sitting at my work desk and I'll just turn this screen on and this is it. I'll read this, right? This is where I will do this newsletter from, right? So all of that content that's in here is clickable. And then we take our featured properties, right? So when we have one of it that, that was an expired that I sold to a direct buyer that I'm reselling again, right? That's one of my brothers. And then I'll just take some of my blog stuff and we'll put that on there. Couple calls to action. And so the newsletter is not complicated. There's not a lot of thinking, right? So that's how it works.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you mind if I ask you another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the lead.
Yeah.
I have a question about what is a good time to ask whether it's the buyer or seller to sign up for the agent agreement.
Oh, not until you give them the whole, I wouldn't even talk about that. There's not. How about that? I wouldn't even want you to think like that first because prospects pursued like that will run away. You need to demonstrate, you need to learn how to demonstrate value. You demonstrate value by talking about the information first that empowers them, giving it to them. You have to be willing to work for free for people to draw them into you. Then once you have to go show them properties, then you can say, listen, the state requires us to be in an agreement now. Here's what our agreement looks like. And say, I'm satisfaction guaranteed. You can take me for a test drive. I'll go out and show you some properties. And if you're not satisfied, you can always cancel. But not until, but not until you've already demonstrated value. I mean, that's going to be the problem, Amy, with all of this buyer agency stuff. People are going to over pursue people. It's just going to be a mistake, right?
So let's say that I'm working with someone that I don't know. It's okay if I set up an appointment with them to say that, I want to show you 3 houses on this weekend, right? And then by the time we meet up and I let them know that we have to sign it. Do you let them?
Yeah, but I would
bring them.
Yeah, but hold on. You're going too fast. Mm-hmm. How did you get from 0 to showing them 3 properties? You have to give me a scenario.
So let's say that I share the package with them. Let's say that I meet them on the open house, right?
Yep.
And then I share my package. Yep. And then they're interested to working with me.
Great.
So I was wondering, can I set up a weekend to show them the house?
Well, sure. Of course. But just, of course. But say, listen, we need, I'm going to set up these 3 showings. But let's meet first so that we get organized. And then you can just say, listen, the state requires me to do this. Here's how it works, right? So by then you've already demonstrated all the value of what you're educating them on. And now you're just saying, tactically, I have to sign this form with you, right? And just you're going to work with Paul and me, and you're going to understand how to articulate what that is. But you can always bring its pressure down by saying, listen, the state makes us do this now, right? And so this is what I have to sign. Okay. It's never,
Got it.
commission's never going to stand in the way of you getting a good deal. And for the most part, all these commissions are articulated still anyway. So it should be business as usual, but bring that down smaller in your mind and bring up demonstrating value. If you don't demonstrate value through providing them information, asking for a signature is a much bigger deal.
Got it.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
make sure, Amy, the only thing to make sure is you're compliant with the state. If the state says
Right.
you have to have something signed before you walk into the first door, then great. Just make sure you're compliant. That's all.
Got it. Because for my first buyer, it was a friend.
Yep.
And so I found awkward to ask friend to sign.
Yes, you know
sign that.
why? You know why? You know the same reason the guy got cheated on by his uncle, because you didn't give your friend a buyer package of information and fully articulate to her what your value was. That's
Got
why.
it.
That's why.
No, I found that we eventually worked through, and then the house closed. But it's just like
I know, but I'm saying I know why you felt bad, because you don't know how to demonstrate value. I'm teaching you how to demonstrate value. You need to give information away to them and explain to them what it does, right?
Right.
Cool.
And then so I don't feel weird about
Exactly.
asking.
Why would you feel weird
Got
why would you feel weird if you're valuable? All right.
Right.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent. That's why you show up all the time, Amy. You're going to be a superstar. Awesome. Okay, gang, I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate y'all coming here. I know I was off last week, so I threw everybody off their rhythm. But yeah, Andre, did you have anything? I saw you come in and out. Anything you wanted to ask me tonight?
Yeah, no, I was curious, like, why do you do what you do?
Which part of what I do? Because I have a lot of things that I do under the branch of real estate. Which part?
Well, all of it.
Yeah.
Like, why you do real estate?
Yeah. Okay. Number one answer would be, as I grew to understand how people operate, like me, I have to live authentically the way that I am. So there's a core belief system that I want to live my life as a person for others. That's a value that was instilled in me from a very young age. I was raised in a Catholic environment. And as a kid, Catholics are very well known for service, right? So I grew up serving the elderly during Thanksgiving. And so my parents were very involved in an organization called Catholic Charity. So that had an effect on me. But then I went to a school in college in particular, similar. It's a sect of the Catholic world called Jesuit, and Jesuits are teachers, and they just really put it on you that core belief of be a person for others in all that you do. So this academic approach was to learn how to be smart about a lot of things, but to be of service. This is a really good match, this business, for the opportunity to be like that. Why? You have the opportunity to help somebody with the single largest financial and emotional transaction that most of them will ever make in a lifetime. And even if it's not that big, it's emotional for a lot of people. A lot of smart people. I have a lot of smart, wealthy people that get very emotional about this. So I felt that I could be of service to those people at the highest level. What's great about it even further, if you want to get into the coaching side, I don't want to be limited to just the people I deal with directly. I want to teach you all to be able to go out there to be of better service to those people using a formula in a system by empowering them through the gift of information. So that's where that law of reciprocity, if you're of service, gifting is a very important thing. But understanding that gifting of thing is actually the most powerful business methodology. When you give, if you read Robert Cialdini's book about influence, that law of reciprocity is more powerful than most other marketing techniques you'll ever try. And that's why I just stopped. Amy said, no, you don't go pursue somebody like that because you haven't given anything yet. So if you just pursue, you're a taker. So I think that's all of that is in the, in the realm. I just put together 2 real estate deals for myself as an investor, and they're very difficult to do. And the greatest satisfaction there is I can give back to the town a cleaner building, right? I can take care of it better than the previous owner. I have all new tenants coming in that are all small businesses. So, again, I have a consistent theme that if I can't be of service in some way, I don't feel really fulfilled. If I wanted to just pursue money, I would have never left Wall Street, right? Because You can make gobs of money by just being in a business and not really serving the teachers and the people that put money into a pension fund. And that's the way I felt about it. So that's why I do what I do.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Good question. You always ask good questions. Good. All right. Anything else? We got the hungry
That
people.
was fantastic, Danny.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gail. Yeah. Well, we get some hungry.
Danny, can I get a copy of this video?
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah. You're gonna send it. You're gonna send me. You guys are of this video right here. This one here you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alexia, send me an email to Danny.Griffin. Okay. Danny.Griffin, Griffin, at, let's see which one I want to send you to. TheRealtyClassroom.com. TheRealty classroom.com. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. And you can communicate
right
with me.
away.
Yeah, I get the least amount. So it might be tomorrow when it renders, but I will definitely answer your question. I always appreciate you. Any of you that come live, I'm happy to give you extra help, which is always my promise, right?
Thank you so much, Danny.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
It was awesome.
All right,
Thank
gang.
you.
See you later. Have a good night, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Good night.